Welcome to Engineering Live with the University of Kentucky's College of Engineering. My name is John Roberts. I'm the Assistant Director of Recruitment for the college. Tonight we're going to be talking about the experience that our students have with the College of Engineering at UK. And so we're going to get our students' perspective on campus life and community, co-ops and internships, as well as undergraduate research. And so while we chat with our student panels, we will be accepting questions relevant or irrelevant to the topics that we're going to cover. And so we encourage you all at home to engage with us and participate. As a quick reminder before we get started, for those students that haven't applied to UK that are interested in attending next fall as first-year students, the deadline for our early action for admissions and scholarships is December 1st, so that's Saturday. So if you're interested in attending next fall as a new student, definitely get your application in before Saturday. You can do that through uky.edu/apply, or you can submit that through the Common App. Before we start our discussion with our student panel, we are going to cut to a quick video. So enjoy this clip of our Society of Women Engineers, which is one of 45 student organizations that we have within our College of Engineering.
What I enjoy the most is the community, and not just how we get along and make friends, but how it's inspiring almost.
SWE stands for the Society of Women Engineers, and we're an organization that promotes the development of women in the workforce, specifically engineering. When I was a freshman, I started, we had just under 50 girls, and now we have 177, and it's just growing from then.
It can be a challenge for females to come in. We still have some of our disciplines where there are few female engineers in those disciplines. Being that support for those students to realize that there are other female engineers in the college really can make a difference.
I knew that I was going to be in classes with a lot of guys, in my engineering LLP with a lot of guys, and seeing girls who were seniors and had made it that far and were working on their capstone projects and just thriving was inspiring to me as a freshman, thinking okay, I can do it.
Welcome back to Engineering Live. So we have our first student panel with us here, and so I'm going to have them introduce themselves to you all, so that way you all know who you are hearing from and talking to. So panel, if you will, give your name as well as your major and your year in school. Raven, we'll start with you.
Okay, my name is Raven, and I'm a fourth-year civil engineering student.
Hi, I'm Michael, and I'm a junior majoring in computer science.
I'm Emma. I'm a sophomore. I'm also civil engineering.
Great. So again, this first topic we're talking about campus life and community, and so naturally the university offers 500 different student organizations that students can get involved in, and the College of Engineering, like I said earlier, has 45 different student organizations that students can get involved in. So Raven, curious to hear from you, what kind of student organizations are you involved in, and how did you get involved in those student organizations?
Okay, well, I'm actually involved in quite a few organizations on campus. My freshman year, I tried to dabble in a little bit of everything. I've done crochet club and, all the things you can think of when you first come to college. Right now, I'm in the National Society of Black Engineers. I'm on the executive board for that. And then I also, outside of engineering, am in ROTC, Army ROTC on campus, so that takes up pretty much of my time.
So naturally, you know how to crochet a blanket?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
scarves, hats,
So you're good for the winter, right? Yeah. ROTC, we'll go back to that real quick. I have a lot of people that are interested in ROTC, and they're curious to know if they can do ROTC and engineering at the same time, and just curious about how that works. So if you wouldn't mind to briefly dive into that.
Yeah, there's actually quite a few engineering majors in ROTC, especially I know at least 6 of my friends anyways that are in ROTC and also in engineering. It's very doable. It's really about time management, like anything that you want to do. If you have a passion for it, you'll make the time and you'll do it the right way. So.
Yeah, sure, naturally. So talking about community and meeting other students, a great way to do that is through the Living Learning Program. I already saw someone kind of asked about how that program is. So of course, the College of Engineering at UK, we have our own Engineering Living Learning Program. And so that program brings first-year engineering programs students together, engineering students, and that allows them to live under the same roof. So Emma, being out of state, definitely, how has a Living Learning Program enhanced your undergraduate experience?
Yeah, so I'm from St. Louis, so I'm pretty far away, and I came here not knowing anyone, hardly knew my roommate, so being in that place where everyone's kind of looking for friends, and you're all doing the same thing, you're all the same major, so we just walked out in the hall, found some friends, and that's been my closest group of friends here at UK, even now, that we met that first week there in the dorms together. And we also all took like similar classes at the same time, so you have that community of people who are also going through it, and it was a good experience, and I'm really benefited from it, especially with the friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, another thing with the LLP is they actually have like a lot of activities that are set up for the LLP, and that's another great way to meet people. And I'm in the same boat. The people that I've met in the LLP, I'm actually currently living with them now, 2 years later after I moved out of the LLP. So you never know who you're going to meet. I mean, it's crazy, and that's another thing. Like as she mentioned, you're all engineers. You're all going through together. It helps keep you focused, and it's kind of nice to have that additional help. When you can just walk down the hall and be like, hey, you guys working on calculus? Like, yeah, you're all in calculus. So you all can work together on that. And I had a lot of help with my gen eds at the beginning of my freshman year too.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah, supportive environment there to help you. That first year is so such a transition for a lot of students, and so yeah, you're right. Going through that together and having that support system is super beneficial for the success of our students, and that's what our data has shown is that students that participate in that program tend to do better. So Michael, talking about community, you kind of built your own community in a little bit of a fun way. So yeah, talk a little bit about that. Your favorite experience with UK so far.
All right, so my favorite experience, there's been a lot of them, but the one that takes the cake is I actually was able to participate in a study abroad program that's offered to the College of Engineering. It was me and 24 other students, and we all got to go to Germany for 2 months. We stayed with host families, and we took Calculus 4 at a local university. And that was an experience that I'm never going to forget. It was absolutely incredible. We got to travel a lot because we had classes Monday through Thursday, but then we had Friday, Saturday, Sunday to basically, explore Germany, maybe go somewhere with our host families. We had a lot of fun, and that experience really made, I didn't know many of the people on the trip before we went, and now we're like a really tight-knit group, and we actually just had like a reunion a few months ago. So like we're still tight-knit, and we still talk about it all the time, and it's something I'm probably never going to forget.
That's awesome. Great question for Raven and Emma. What's been your favorite experience at UK so far?
Well, like you said, there's a ton of experiences that I can name. One specifically is during K-Week, they used to do a big water balloon fight, campus-wide water balloon fight, and honestly, coming into school and doing something like that was really fun. They don't do that anymore, but they did also have Capture the Flag. They have a dodgeball tournament with their dodgeball team. We have a dodgeball team, so I mean, it's just a lot of stuff that you can do.
Great. And Emma,
Yeah.
what's been your favorite experience so far with UK?
Yeah, my favorite for sure has been joining a sorority. I'm part of Phi Sigma Rho, which is our social engineering sorority, and it has given me such a great group of girls who I can lean on in any kind of situation, academically, support for friends, or like anything that I'm going through. I really have that close group, and it's definitely something that some kids worry about with engineering because it's a time commitment also, but it's definitely doable. A lot of us are in Greek life also. So yeah, that's been my favorite. I really enjoy it.
Great. So we definitely want to get to a question that we had from our audience. And so Peter asked earlier, what is a typical day like as a civil engineer? So I've got two of them right here. So if you would like to share, Peter.
Okay, well, typical day for me, I have 8 a.m.s all week, so I get up really early. Well, I'm in ROTC as well, so
yeah, that makes a big difference.
I have PT in the mornings, and then I have my 8 a.m. class. My schedule actually is pretty good this year, so I have a gap from 9 to 2 on most days, and then after that I just have class all day. So I mean, class, I get a lot of time to study and do homework in between classes, so my nights aren't always taken up by that.
Yeah, I'm not in ROTC, so my classes start a little bit later. I have one required at 8 a.m. Tuesday, Thursday, but
It's one too many.
I know. They do start a little bit later, and then I go to work after for the transportation center. spend my time after that doing homework mostly. But yeah, that's pretty much what my day looks like.
Yeah, great. Excellent. Wonderful. So with this, we are ready to go ahead and start moving on to our next topic, which is co-ops and internships. I've already seen a lot of questions come through with that. So while we transition, please enjoy this clip of Austin, who is a computer engineering senior who recently interned with Badger Technologies working on an autonomous robot named Marty. So stay tuned and we will be right back.
My name is Austin Herman. I work at Badger Technologies, and I work with Marty the robot. I think the best part about this job is every day is different. One day I'll be working with C++ on something, and then Unix, and just start scripting something else. And I wouldn't know any of that if it weren't for UK courses. Sometimes I'm up mapping the floor, you know, working in real time with a robot, and I can see all those changes that I make. They definitely treat me like a full-time employee. Although I'm an intern, it's never just, can you get this printed for me by tomorrow or anything. It's just, you feel like you're respected just as equally among everyone. I would love to see Marty around a grocery store that I go to. I think about it every time I go into Kroger. I think about seeing Marty just, you know, patrolling around. I think that'd be really cool.
Welcome back to Engineering Live. We are back with the new student panel to talk specifically about co-ops and internships. So, so that the audience knows who you are, will you please share with them your name, major, and year in school? Raven, we'll start with you.
Okay, hello again. I'm Raven. I'm a fourth-year civil engineering student.
I'm Allison, and I am a fifth-year civil engineering student.
Hey, my name is Mfon, and I'm a senior mechanical engineering.
Great. So, of course, co-ops and internships are a very meaningful way for our students to be able to kind of get that experiential learning piece. It's kind of where the rubber hits the road, so to speak. And so when I'm out talking to prospective students and families, I do get the question often about what's the difference between co-ops and internships. So, Allison, if you wouldn't mind to differentiate the two, I think that would be helpful for the audience.
Sure. So I'd say an internship usually takes place in the summer, and it can just be a one-time experience with the company, but then a co-op takes place during the semester, so you take time off of your normal academic schedule, and that can be with the same company over multiple terms.
Great, excellent. And so with your internship and co-ops, how did you land that? And specifically, how helpful was our career development team? How helpful were they in that process? We've already had a student ask, Melanie. Thank you for joining us tonight, Melanie. She was asking about how helpful UK was in that process. So if you wouldn't mind to elaborate on those two questions.
Sure. Yeah, so I knew I wanted to pursue a co-op opportunity, and I attended the UK Career Fair, which is hosted by the department. And so I talked to a company I was interested in, and actually got an interview and was able to, I got an offer from them. But I wanted to switch regions, and our office really helped me a lot. In working with the company to get the location that I wanted. And it was a great experience, and I was glad I did it. But then coming around for this summer, I wanted a new opportunity, and they helped me. I just scheduled a meeting, and we talked through my career goals, and they set me up with a company that was then at the career fair. And then I interviewed with them and worked this summer.
Yeah. So what company specifically?
Yeah, so I co-opted with Messer Construction, and then I interned with Kimley Horn, a design firm. And
what regions were you in with that?
My co-op was in Cincinnati, and then my internship was in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So they're not, those opportunities are just not, they don't have to be just Lexington or Kentucky. Right. They can be in other places.
Yeah, I've been all over.
Country.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Yeah, and we'll get a little bit to that here shortly. Mfon, what has been the most important lesson that you've learned out in your co-op and internship experience?
I would say that the most important lesson has been, knowing how to be an active learner So knowing how to own the process of getting information for yourself and seeking out answers, because when you're thrown into that kind of environment, you're only there for 3 months, you have about 2 or 3 weeks to get a hang of things, you're gonna have a lot of questions. So you just knowing how to, be a little pushy, ask the right questions, just know how to, own that process for yourself was probably the biggest lesson I've taken away.
So how did your supervisor in all of that play a role, or mentor, or whoever you worked with? How did they play a role in that?
Okay, so they try to give you, so generally most internship programs will assign you a mentor. Typically it's someone who's like a recent hire, maybe 5 years in or 7 years in, and mine was about 4 years in at the time. And what he did was, he provided guidance, told me what my role was, gave me my, job description basically. If I had any questions about, what steps to take to complete my, deliverables, I would go to him, asking for guidance here and there. And so typically most internships have that. It's very helpful because, you're, you're a college student, you're gonna have a lot of questions going into that kind of work environment.
Yeah, so far what I'm hearing too is that whether you're on the job site or whether you're preparing, we definitely have the infrastructure to really help out through that process.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I know for a lot of students it's like kind of nerve-wracking to think that you're gonna be thrown into the deep end in these companies and just kind of sink or swim, but that's great to know that, they've got that support. Raven, what's been so far your single most favorite experience with your co-ops and internships?
I'd have to say I worked with Norfolk Southern for my first internship, and I'd worked in the bridge department for them, and over the summer there was a derailment on a bridge in Louisville. It's one of the biggest bridges that they have there, and I think when there's chaos you learn the most. So even though it wasn't a good situation, we were up 48 hours through the night, didn't sleep, just hands-on learning how to do, what we were doing. And it just was a really good learning experience, and it was fun. So
Great. So that's a great question for Allison and Yvonne. So we'll go ahead with Allison. Yeah, what's been your favorite experience so far with co-ops and internships?
Yeah, I think it was really cool to look back this summer during my last internship and just see everything that I learned. And you learn so much in the classroom, but then learning how to apply that at the job is really different. And I think I grew a lot just as an employee. So that was neat to then look back and see, it used to take me 8 hours to do a task, but by the end of the internship, it took me like 1 hour.
So naturally that was just practice and experience that really helped you to be able to do that?
Yep.
Very cool. And same question for you. What's been your favorite experience so far?
Okay, so during my first internship, I had 2 experiences I really loved. The first one was a speed mentoring experience. So what they did was they set up a bunch of tables in one of the rooms that we had, and they had about 13 tables with about 13 full-time employees. And what they did was they had the interns come in and rotate in those tables. And so you get to spend about 7 minutes with about 13 employees total. And so you just go from table to table, getting to know them, getting to know how they've advanced through their different roles that they've had over their 20 plus years in the company. That was a really great experience. The second experience was we got to go to a Minnesota Twins baseball game.
Oh yeah.
And we got to go with interns and full-time employees. So it's a less formal situation, and it was really nice getting to network with them, having more casual conversation.
Definitely.
It was great atmosphere. The weather was awesome. I think they won that game, so
that's always a plus.
It was really awesome.
So you did some in Cincinnati and Nashville, Minnesota, I take
Yes.
it, and then where did you do your co-ops internship?
Both my internships, one was in Knoxville. My one this past summer was in Virginia and West Virginia. But with the job that I had, I got to travel a lot. So I've been to New York with them. I've been to Atlanta with them, all over.
Great. We had a question come in. Ryan asked, how early can you do internships? So can you all speak to that maybe a little bit?
Well, I definitely know that people have done them, right out of their freshman year. I personally I got my first internship after my sophomore year was the first internship that I had.
Yes, just to reiterate that, I had my first one after my sophomore year, but I also know multiple people who have gotten their first internship right after their freshman year. Sometimes it could be a small local startup in Lexington area or somewhere around Kentucky, or sometimes it can even be outside Kentucky. But a lot of people start theirs after the sophomore year.
Great. We also Kat asked us, are there scholarships for women in STEM? And if so, where can I find them? So do you all have any insights on that?
Yeah, I actually have a scholarship.
There you go.
There's the Society of Women Engineers that
Great.
I think we watched a video
Yes,
of.
yes.
And it's a national organization, and you can apply for those online.
That's true. Yeah, you can go specifically to their website. I forget exactly what the URL is. We've got somebody behind the scenes, so they can provide that URL for you, Kat. But yeah, that SWE is a great way to find some scholarships for women that want to enter into STEM and specifically engineering. So we are getting ready to move into our next topic, which is undergraduate research. So while we make the transition, enjoy this clip of Bella, a materials engineering junior who, as a sophomore, received valuable experience doing research in biomaterials research lab. So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
So in the biomaterials research lab that I joined, I was able to work with different types of biodegradable polymers. Basically, my project had to do with constructing 3 different scaffolding systems using these polymers. 2 of the systems I was using different types of 3D printing methods, one using UV light and the other using extrusion 3D printing. With those systems, we were trying to incorporate a drug called simvastatin, and so the idea with using that drug was that it could be easily incorporated. By incorporating them into a polymer system and then degrading that, you would be able to control the release of the drug. And so by using different compositions of polymer, you could have different release profiles. And then also by incorporating the 3D printing, you would have more structural control over the scaffold that you're producing. With all engineering, really you're seeing an impact on society, and you're improving people's lives with your technology.
Welcome back to Engineering Live. So we're back with another student panel to talk specifically about undergraduate research at UK's College of Engineering. So again, we're going to have our panel introduce themselves to you so that you know who they are. So if you all will, give them, the audience, your name, your major, and your year in school. Allie, we'll start with you.
Hi, my name is Allie. I'm a senior in chemical engineering.
I'm Michael. I'm a senior in civil engineering.
I'm Bella, and I'm a junior in materials engineering.
Great. So, being a research university, the part of the core to our mission is research, and so we very, very much value that. We have faculty that are very much engaged in research in a variety of different ways, and so we very much encourage undergraduate students to get involved in research. And with that said, Bella, what kind of research projects have you been involved with?
So as a materials engineering major, I'm actually also getting the biomedical engineering minor that we have here at UK. So with that, I'm looking toward a focus in biomaterials, and so I got plugged in with a biomaterials lab during my sophomore year. And through that, I got to work with biodegradable polymer scaffolds. With the big idea was to be able to incorporate a drug into those biodegradable polymers, and then potentially have that be implanted and have controlled release properties and things like that.
Right. And so earlier we had an audience member actually ask about, do we have a biomedical degree, in which we've already had somebody answer that through the live chat. But with your experience and also pursuing the minor, can you tell a little bit more about how that experience could prepare someone for a career in biomedical engineering?
Yeah, so I think the biomedical engineering minor is a great way to set yourself apart in your education, and the biomedical engineering field is so broad, and different types of engineers from all fields are hired in those positions. So if you are interested in working a biomedical engineering job, you actually have those opportunities through mechanical engineering, materials engineering. So it's just kind of good to keep your options open.
Sure.
And so that's what makes the minor great, because you
definitely
can basically give yourself both options going forward.
Definitely. Very good. Allie, we'll cut to you. What do you feel like with your research? How do you feel like that research prepares you for your future career?
Yeah, so I actually did a really similar project to Bella, except I worked with nanoparticles instead of polymers. but we were looking into different drug delivery systems and drug delivery methods. And with that, it was neat because it was a lot of trial and error, and it was a lot of learning about the scientific process. So with that, I think you can adapt that very well to industry. And if you're looking at going to industry or going to grad school, it was really good to kind of explore that. And I was actually really not sure which way I wanted to go. So the opportunity to do research and also do a co-op, I got to really figure out what was the best path for me. And I found that my favorite part about research, among many, many things that I enjoyed, was the ability to keep making my process better. So I kind of found that love of, of process improvement with when it fails, how can I make it not fail again?
Right.
So a lot of learning. And also with research, there's a lot of opportunity to present and keep showing other people, this is what we can learn, this is what we can do. So being able to talk about those technical aspects and still share them and make it accommodating and being able to share it with any type of audience was really huge and something that I can bring now to industry.
Oh, definitely. Lots of transferable skills there that will benefit you greatly years beyond your start of your career. Michael, how did you get started with research initially?
So I know Bill and Allie will agree with me on this, but University of Kentucky College of Engineering professors are some of the best in the nation. And just having them just be so available for research for undergrads like myself, it was really amazing. So I took a data science and transportation class with Dr. Earhart, and just through that class I fell in love with data science and civil engineering all over again. And then at the near the end of the class, I was trying to figure out what I was going to do in the summer. And so I reached out to the professor. I shot him an email. I said, hey, would you have any research opportunities for me in the summer? And he said, no more than a week later, he had a spot for me. And so we worked on a project, and we had a paper pushed out by August 1st, and it was pretty cool. So yeah, but nothing more than just shooting him an email and getting accepted.
So per usual, initiative.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Takes.
You got to kind of push your way in there. But.
Well, yeah. I mean, you've got to be able to start that conversation and move forward.
For
so,
sure.
Yeah. So for anyone wanting to do research, it sounds like taking that first step in initiating is the key to success there. Yeah, for sure. So Michael, what's been your favorite memory or favorite experience that you've had with research so far?
Just recently we found out that the paper was accepted for presentation at the Transportation Research Board in Washington, D.C. in January, so that was pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah, super cool. So we get to go present that in D.C., and so I'd say that was the top thing that I loved out of the research.
Yeah, so cool. So with that, have you started preparing as far as like that presentation piece? Or?
Yeah, for sure. So we're just going to have to get ready and figure out what we need to do, get the presentation together, and then we'll knock it out in January. Have a good time.
Yeah. Bundle up too. It's gonna be cold.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So that's a good question for Bella and Allie. I blended your names there together. So that happens in live broadcasts sometimes. Allie, what's been your favorite experience so far regarding research?
I'm going to have to go along with the presenting piece. So I was really lucky to have the opportunity to actually present 3 times with the research that I was doing. And first was just getting started with just presenting at school, but then I had the opportunity to present at the AICG National Conference, so I did a poster session there, and then because of how I did in the poster session, I was chosen to do an oral presentation competition for the regional conference that was the next spring. So the opportunity to present and see so many cool places was really cool.
Oh, very cool. And Bella, what's been your favorite experience so far in research?
My favorite part of it was probably getting to work with 3D printers. And UK actually has this really cool lab they call the Innovation Center, and it's got basically a wall full of 3D printers, and it's completely open for students to come whenever they want. And so I actually used that facility in my own research, and so I was trying to figure out ways to print these biodegradable polymers, trying to make them into filaments. Lots of trial and error, but just getting that exposure to new technology that was foreign to me at first, and then now I have so much more knowledge when it comes to those applications.
Great. So right now we're going to take some questions from the audience. A couple questions that are unrelated to what we're talking about, but I think you all can speak to this.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, so CJ Harris, thank you for joining us, CJ. He's asking just about co-ops. How do they work?
So co-ops are really cool. So co-ops were like the foundation of my education, I believe, at UK. So early on, I think it was after my third semester at UK, I went to a resume editing event. And so it's where you come in. I think I had a 3-page long resume. They're like, no, you can't do that. It's got to be 1 page, right? And so I walked in there and I talked to a lady who worked with Messer Construction. And so she worked through the resume with me. We got it narrowed down to where, you don't double space your resume. So got it down to 1 page. And then after that, we stayed in contact. And through that contact, I ended up getting a co-op. And the co-op experience itself is amazing because you get the professional experience, you get paid to do it, and you get a little time off classes too. And you can make that time back up in the summer if you want to, but kind of a triple threat there.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Anything you all want to contribute?
Yeah, I think the co-op program is great because in my experience especially, I got to rotate and try different roles within the company when I was there. So I did 4 total roles and every single one was different. So had more of a business position, and then I had a very technical equipment-based position where I was learning a lot about how the equipment functioned and things like that, and then even on the floor working with operators. So it was really neat to be able to try lots of different things, even within the same company.
Great. Shifting gears real quick, Holly Stans, thank you for joining us tonight, Holly. She asks, as someone who is coming from out of state, not knowing anyone else who is going here, I'm interested in Greek life. Is it hard to juggle Greek life with the work of engineering, Bella?
So I'm out of state and I'm in Greek life.
So,
and I wasn't, I didn't know anyone coming to UK at all. I'm from Illinois originally, and so participating in recruitment was a way for me to make a lot of new friends, and I'm very happy with the decision to join a sorority. It's been great. I've made so many lifelong friends through it, and it's possible to balance both. Also, it's it's a time commitment, but I think it it helps you work on those time management skills, and honestly, you need a break from your engineering classes. So it's good to be balanced as a student, and I think Greek life has just been an outlet for me to do that.
Very cool. Jacob Noble, so going a little bit back to our main topic, he asks a question about what kind of research opportunities essentially are there for students at UK?
A lot.
So many.
Yeah, really, there's a ton. You heard what everybody's done here. Mine was more data science. They were actually in labs. You can do just about anything you want to do. The key is just reaching out to professors and trying to see what they need, and then if you can fulfill that need, or maybe if not, they'll connect you to another professor who does research that you can help out. So there are really a ton of things you can do.
Yeah, I just scrolled through the department website.
Yeah,
and contacted every
send
single.
emails.
I sent email to every single professor in the web.
It's kind of aggressive.
It
That's good.
I ended up
like
having
it.
7 meetings with professors, and actually got a potential offer from 2 of them, and then picked the one that I liked best. So
That was how it worked out for me too. Actually, I had more than one option, and the professors that I talked to, even in the biomedical engineering department, which currently it's just been master's and PhD students, but those professors even were very open to having me join their lab as an undergrad.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if you emailed a professor and wanted to do research and ended up not having something to do. I mean, there's a ton of stuff to do.
Great. Yeah. Jacob also asked another great question, and yeah, good job, Jacob.
Good work, Jacob.
So he's just curious to know, how did you all land in the engineering field? How did you decide which engineering field you wanted to go into? That's a great question.
I can take that one. So I came in actually thinking that I wanted to major in chemical engineering, and it was through the general first year engineering program that UK has that I realized that materials was actually a better fit for myself. So I think it's hard to know coming in as a freshman, because I definitely didn't have specific engineering classes in high school, and it'd be pretty crazy if you did, but so I think that it's important to have an exploratory period like that, and
Great.
Yeah, I was going to say, I came in as so I was here when the first year program was not in place. And so I see it in place, and I think it's amazing because I started off as mechanical engineering. I thought I was going to be Elon Musk to Mars. I was going to do the aerospace certificate, and man, I was going to be that man up there.
Yeah,
but
right.
it didn't work out. So I ended up doing a construction internship over the summer and fell in love with construction management, the process behind it, and switched to civil engineering. So if I would have had that first year engineering, maybe I would have realized I didn't want to be in a rocket ship for a couple months. But you know.
Great.
I came in knowing chemical. I never changed, but I think that's not a typical case.
Yeah.
I don't know
think it
why. I
happens
just had a
sort of maybe
feeling.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you all represent both ends of the spectrums
Yeah.
very well. Where
For
we have
sure.
students that know exactly what they want to do, but then we have students, that are think they know, but then maybe they. Then they figure out. That's one good thing about the first year engineering program that we have now, where students are able to all come in as pre-engineering students, and then they figure out through that by being able to sample each major, they figure out their first year, what degree path is best for me.
For sure.
Yeah, great.
Definitely.
Excellent. So we'll take a couple more questions here. Let's go to Eamon. He wondered, going back to internships and co-ops, which is more highly regarded, internships or co-ops? Or
So that goes back to the difference between the two. So what we usually define in College of Engineering as a co-op is when you take the semester off and you're actually working on top of that semester. And so some people do one, some people do two, and that can set you back up to 2 semesters. But like I said, you can retake those classes in the summer and catch up and still graduate in 4 years. And then the internship is typically defined as just the summer job. And so say you're going to school, and then summer comes, you get the job there, go back to school. So it's not taking the time off. So highly regarded, they're probably equal.
Yeah, I think the important part is just getting an experience of some sort, may that be a co-op or internship or research. Just having something on your resume, like learning outside of the classroom, is extremely important in any type of form that it is.
Right.
Yeah, I think it comes to personal preference. Like, I personally haven't taken a whole semester off of school to do a co-op, so I've, just kind of been looking more for the summer internships, and, that's also completely fine. So.
Great. Another question we have in from Garrett. Thank you, Garrett, for your question. Curious to know a little bit more about the SEAM program and the 5th year MBA and how that influences classes and student schedules.
Did you see him?
I did not.
See him?
No, but I know people who do.
Yeah.
It's a great program.
Yeah, I'm in the honors program. I'm not in SEAM specifically, but they basically fill all of their honors requirements that you would typically do with other classes, but theirs are specifically geared toward like management and engineering and those types of ideas. They're trying to work with professional development with engineers who see themselves as being working their way up into management once they're in the field. So from what I know of the friends that I have in it, really enjoy it. I've only heard good things about it.
Definitely. And then with the 5th year MBA program, basically what a student will be able to do is take some upper level classes with the MBA their last year, and then basically be able to just to take 1 year extra to complete the MBA. And then that program, of course, also has a study abroad trip built into it, so students get an abroad experience as well. So yeah, for those students that want to know for a fact they want to go into management at some point and be in that area, the SEAM program, which is kind of like a pre-MBA program, and the actual MBA dual degree program are great fits for students wanting to go down that pathway. We have another audience member that says, if I visit campus, what are the must-see things that I must see? Yeah.
Ooh, if you go to Lexington, you got to go to Keeneland. If you're there for the spring or the fall meet, I'm huge on the horse races. On campus, I don't know, what y'all got on campus? I'm always at the track.
Yeah.
No, campus is beautiful. We have a brand new student center. It is just amazing. It was interesting because for a few years there we didn't have a student center, and it's worth it, well worth the wait. Just tons of things to do, just a great place to hang out between classes and get food. And there's a theater in there. There's a Barnes and Noble in there. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I think Willie T, our library, is also definitely a spot to check out. Spend a lot of time there as engineers typically, but you really can't miss it. It's a huge building.
in the middle of campus. And yeah, it's a really great, like, if you do come to UK, you'll find yourself spending a lot of time there, even like hanging out with your friends there. It's kind of a social aspect too.
It's a place to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Alec wonders, are there any study abroad programs that are engineering based? And if so, where?
Yeah, so I, similar to Mike, who they heard from earlier, I did the Calc 4 in Germany trip. And so that's specifically for engineering students. You have to take Calc 4 anyway, so you might as well take it in Germany. And
make it enjoyable at least, right?
Yeah. So it was a 5-week program. We got to stay with host families. We took a German culture class on the side too, while knocking out some credit here. I knew that I wanted to study abroad coming into college, so I was really excited when I knew that there were programs specifically for engineering students. And I would definitely recommend taking advantage of them. There's another program, one of my good friends went on to Spain, and that was a renewable energy focused program. So there are options.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, what a great experience that was for you all to go to Germany. I know Michael speaks highly, obviously,
Definitely.
of it. So, yeah, very cool. Another audience member asked, what percentage of students have a job within 6 months of graduation?
It's a technical question.
Yeah, it's a technical question.
Tony Jackson.
Yeah. So about 93% of our students have a job after graduation. But I think you all can go ahead and I know, Allie, you've already had a job offer and you haven't even graduated yet.
Yeah, I accepted my job offer in October.
Yeah.
So about 9 months in advance.
Uh-huh.
So that was good.
Yeah.
That's been nice.
Yeah, and there's other students like that as well that because of the co-ops and the internships and building those relationships with the companies, they're able to get those job offers pretty early on before even graduation. So I think that's why that percentage is so high, is because those students who are taking advantage of those opportunities and getting in there.
It's cool too because a lot of the companies, they'll come to campus, so you don't have to travel very far to find out companies that are looking to hire, and they're coming there, looking for College of Engineering students at the University of Kentucky. And so being able to interact with them, from freshman year, senior year, and building those relationships over the time, you see the same people coming in over and over again. And so it's really cool. You can build your network just through the career events at UK.
Definitely. Joseph, thank you for tuning in, Joseph. He asks, what do you gain from being at UK that you can't get anywhere else?
Ooh, wow.
So, Allie, I think you've had a really interesting experience with this because there's other universities you could have attended, and you specifically chose UK. So maybe you can touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, I like this question.
Yeah.
No, to me, UK just really felt like home when I was on campus. And so the story that I tell a lot is there's other schools I went to where it just didn't quite feel right. There was great programs, great schools. I'm sure I would have had a great education, but the first day, sitting down with all of other engineering students, they said, look to your left, look to your right. Tell both those people I hope you're here with me when we graduate. At other schools I had heard, look to your left, look to your right. Hopefully you're the one still standing. So I really like that camaraderie and like everybody's working together, and if you want to succeed and you want to be successful, people are going to be here to help you do that. So that for me was huge, and was really one of the biggest reasons I picked UK.
I completely agree. I always tell people it feels like a family. You got UK as a whole, it's a big old 25, 30,000 people coming here, so it's pretty big, right?
Yeah.
But then you got the College of Engineering, so you've got your people there. It's like your family, and so you become tight with the people you're going to classes with over and over again, and so it's really just a great environment to be in.
Great.
Yeah, I'll just second that. I mean, just the diversity here is awesome too. Just the people that I've gotten to meet, and professors, students, friends that I have in my classes with me and study with me, and pretty sure a bunch of them are watching this right now. Supportive friends, you'll find them here.
Absolutely. Familiar name for me, Richard. Thanks for joining us, Richard, tonight. And he asks, what are some examples of companies that have recruited engineers from UK? So I think you all can speak a little bit about the internships and co-ops that you all have gotten involved with.
For sure. You want to start?
Yeah, so I worked with Thermo Fisher Scientific for 4 semesters, and then I got hired on there full time. So personally, that's been my experience.
Yeah.
And I worked with Messer Construction and another company called ColorPoint. Did some business analytics with them, but there's all sorts of companies on campus. I mean, there's just a small sliver.
I think there was was it over 200 at the career fair last time, or
There were
it might be
a
more
lot,
than that.
yeah.
I'm not sure.
And they're all looking
Yeah.
for engineering students.
Right.
I mean, people who come recruit, materials, got GE Aviation comes. I did an internship this past summer with a startup company called Bluegrass Advanced Materials. That was very hands-on research. You've got local companies and companies that are coming from far away. So it's really something for everyone.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, our career development team is largely to give props to for the success of our students with internships and co-ops and professional development, because they're the ones that are helping build these relationships with all these companies. We partner with hundreds of different companies. They host these huge career fairs on campus. We have engineering companies coming to us, to our students, to be able to talk to our students, meet with our students about co-ops, internships, full-time jobs. So yeah, very much. We could spend a whole hour, 2 hours talking about this. A lot of opportunities. Of course, Richard, you've got my contact information, so feel free to reach out to me if there's any specific questions about companies that you're interested in. Let's take one more and wrap this broadcast up. We, of course, could spend hours talking to everyone. So we're going to take one more question. For those in-state, students in-state, how often were you able to visit home when you first started college?
So my parents lived 10, 15 minutes down the road, so I could go every day if I wanted to. But, I tried to keep my space for a little bit, to build up that independence. But, yeah, I was very close to my parents geographically, so it was easy for me to go home.
I'm about an hour away, so I didn't have a car my first semester, or whole first year, which I think was really good because it kind of forced me to stay down here, even though I wanted to go home and see the family. So I was able to go home about every 3 weeks or so, maybe every month. Maybe could have gone home a little bit more, but it was definitely good to get a family down here and to really get going. And I think the more you go home, if you're going home every weekend, which I know it's hard because you want to, but you need to stay down here and really get involved. So not having a car helped me not be able to go home so much. So that was probably a really good thing for me to be able to get involved.
Great, excellent. One more comment I want to read. One of our audience members was at one of our girls' engineering camps over the summer. Thank you for attending that camp. I'm glad that was a great experience for you. #BBN, yes. Big Blue Nation, it's a great place. As we wrap up, we want to thank everybody for taking time to be with us tonight, to talk with our panels, submit questions, engage with us. If we didn't get to your questions, we've got someone behind the set working on those questions, so we'll definitely get to your questions. If you want to contact me directly, you can contact me through my email, john.roberts1@uky.edu, or you can text or call me at 859-951-6011. For all updates in regards to our content, definitely follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Our team puts up great content so you can get the 30,000-foot view of what we're doing at the College of Engineering at the University of Kentucky. If you've never visited us before, we definitely encourage you to do so that way you can see our labs, speak with our students, speak with our faculty. So you can schedule an appointment for an engineering information session or a grand tour at engr.uky.edu/visit. Also, there is a link below me in the comment section. It's a short survey that I put together, so I know it's short because I made it that way. And so it shouldn't take you more than 30 seconds to complete. So we'd be curious to get your feedback about this broadcast, to know how we did, so that we can make these better for future students and families. So please click that link and fill out the survey below. Lastly, for those students that haven't applied, again, December 1st, that is the deadline for our early action admissions and also for scholarships. So we definitely don't want you to miss out on that if you're interested in being a first-year student with us next fall. So again, go to uky.edu/apply or go to the Common App to apply. Again, thank you all for joining us for Engineering Live. We hope to see you at our next broadcast. And as always, go Cats!
I 100% am positive that I made the right choice for coming to this university. Going into engineering at UK, it's opened up a lot of doors that I didn't think that I would have an opportunity to go into.
I actually did not expect to be working in the robotics field as a mechanical engineer.
So as an out-of-state student, I didn't know anyone at UK before I got here. So I definitely wanted to get involved right away so I could meet people and make new friends. Being a part of the LP definitely helped me do that.
Going into the lab, it's a different experience than just going into a classroom and just writing down notes.
I'm no longer scared of what's going to happen after graduation. I know how certain principles that we learn in classes are used in the field, and it was awesome.